Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today is our lecture number 4, and the topic for our today discussion is about elements, compound and mixture. First of all, we will define element. That element this is the definition of element. The first line is the definition of element. Element is a pure substance. Here I underline the word pure substance. Means element is a substance, is a pure substance which cannot be split into other substances by physical and chemical method. I underline 3 important points, which is what is the basic definition of element. Element is a pure substance, means it's a substance. What kind of substances? Element is such type of substance which cannot be simplified or which cannot be divided into other substances. Simply we can say that element is a such type of substance which cannot be divided, which cannot be broken down into other substances by physical and chemical method. What is means by physical and chemical method? Let us suppose take an element. We consider element gold. If you want to break down gold into simple substances, we use 2 types of method. Physical method. Physical means by using a hammer. Chemical methods means by using a specific type of chemical. But we cannot divide gold into other substances by using these 2 techniques. Neither by physical method, neither by chemical method. The question arises why we cannot divide it or we cannot simplify element into other substances. This is because element itself is a pure substance, and we cannot divide it any pure substances into simpler substances. This was the basic definition of elements. We will take an example of element which is commonly used in our daily life. Gold is an element. Do you know that gold, which is used for ornamental purposes, is an element? We cannot divide it or we cannot convert it gold into any other simpler substances, because gold is an element. The gold which is used for ornamental purposes is basically an element. So if we cannot divide it any gold, then it simplifies that element cannot be divided. Element is a such type of substance which cannot be converted into other type of substances. Another question which arises in our mind is, what is the fundamental unit of element? Means what element composed of? So the fundamental unit of any element is atom. Means every element have its specific atoms. Atoms combine million, trillion and hundreds of atoms combine each other and form an element. So we can say that element is consist of an atoms. Atoms combine each other and form an element. I got it here an example of gold again. Look at here, gold is an element. Gold is an element. Why gold is an element? Because gold cannot be divided or we cannot divide gold into other substances. We cannot simplify it. This is because gold is an element. We have learned in our previous classes that we cannot see an atom. So how we can say that gold is an element? Gold is an element because this gold is consist of millions of atoms. It simplifies that gold which we observe in markets, which we observe in our house is basically element, not atom. Why? We cannot see an individual atom. So many atoms, gold atoms, let us suppose this is gold's atom. Many gold's atom combine each other and form gold elements. So gold element is made up of gold's atoms. So the fundamental unit of any element is atom. And the second topic is number of elements. Another question which arises in our mind is how many elements are there in this universe, complete universe, in the whole universe. So there are total 118 elements are exist in this universe. Out of 118 elements, 92 elements are naturally occurring. What is means by naturally occurring? Naturally occurring means they have created by Almighty Allah. And the rest of the element, 26 elements are made by scientists. It means 92 are natural elements and 26 elements are made by scientists. And those elements which is made by scientists is called artificial elements. And these elements can easily prepared in laboratory. Another statement about element is atoms of same element are same each other. As I have told you that gold is an element. So gold is made up of gold atom. Gold element is made up of gold atoms. So each gold's atoms are similar to each other, but they are different from other atoms. Means they are different from the atoms of oxygen element. Gold element and oxygen element are different from each other. Why? Because gold atoms and oxygen atoms are different. Because of difference in their atoms, the elements are also different from each other. Now another question which arises in our mind is what will participate in chemical reaction, element or an atom? The answer is atom. Atom of any element is participating in chemical reaction. So the last statement about element is atom of the element are participate in chemical reaction. Any chemical reaction is processing because of the atoms. Why? Atoms are participating in chemical reaction. Let us take an example. Hydrogen react with another hydrogen. Hydrogen atom react with another hydrogen atom. As a result, hydrogen gas is produced. H2 gas, hydrogen gas is produced. What is means by this? It states that the atom of hydrogen combine each other and hydrogen molecule is formed. In the similar way, hydrogen atom react with oxygen atom and as a result water is formed. So this is clear that atoms are participating in chemical reaction. Another topic of our discussion is about symbol of an element. What is means by symbol? And why we take a symbol for an element? So first of all, we will define what is symbol. Symbol of an element. The definition of symbol is the shortest name of an element is called symbol. Any shortest name of element. it is easy method to memorize an element by means of their symbol. So the shortest name of any element is called its symbol. And who suggested the name? Who suggested the symbol for the element? So the scientist Berzelius in 1814, he suggested that system for the representation of an element. He suggested that a very simple method should be suggested, which is helpful to memorize an element by means of their symbol. So, what is the rule for representing a symbol of an element? How we can make a rule which is helpful for representing an element by its symbol? Rule number 1. First letter of the name of element taken for symbol. Here we take the first letter of the element used as a symbol. This is the easy method. Look at here. Carbon is an element. We use the initial, the first capital letter for the symbol of carbon. So carbon is represented with C. Now the problem arises where two elements share the same first letter. In case of this situation, we will add another letter also. Let us take the example here. Rule number 2. If two elements have same first letter, look at here. Carbon and calcium both have same first letter. Means carbon also have C first letter and calcium also have C first letter. So if we represent both by C, how we will differentiate that C is used for carbon or for calcium? So to remove this defect, we added another letter also. Look at here, carbon is represented with C. And calcium is represented with Ca, not only C, because C is already used for carbon. In this technique, we added another letter with the capital, with the first letter. This is rule number 2. And rule number 3. Some element symbol started with Greek or Latin name. There are two types of name for each element. One is English name and another is Greek or Latin name. Some element is represented with Latin names or Greek names. Let us suppose antimony is an element. The English name is antimony and the Latin name is stabium. So stabium is not represented with An because An is an English name. So we represented stabium with Sb. Sb is their Latin names. So this was about elements and symbol for an elements. In the next lecture, inshallah, we will discuss about compound and mixture. Thank you.